Okay, picture this. It is dawn. The sun is just like barely starting to hit the ancient stone steps of the Roman theater in the absolute heart of Amman.
Whoa, wow.
Right, and those steps are completely packed. I mean, thousands of families, teenagers, government workers, all just gathered shoulder to shoulder, eyes totally glued to these massive outdoor screens.
And they're not there for a concert or
No,
anything.
exactly.
Yeah.
They are watching a football match happening literally halfway across the planet in Santa Clara, California.
It's just wild to think about that scale.
It really is. So, welcome to today's deep dive. Today is Wednesday, June 17th, 2026, and we are looking at a massive stack of sources today.
Yeah, we've got a lot to get through.
We really do. We're pulling from official FIFA match reports, live text commentary from The Guardian, sports betting analytics from OddsChecker, broadcast breakdowns from 8888 Sport, and even some cultural news dispatches from Xinhua.
It's a really comprehensive look at a single event.
Yeah, because our mission today isn't just to read a box score to you. We are analyzing yesterday's thrilling Group J clash between Austria and Jordan at the 2026 World Cup.
Because honestly, if you look closely, this single 100-minute match gives us a total masterclass in modern tactical warfare.
Absolutely. And, the agonizingly cruel margins of tournament football, plus a really profound shift in global sports culture.
I mean, the stakes underlying that scene in Amman you just described, that's what makes this specific match like the quintessential World Cup narrative for me.
How so?
Well, you have two violently contrasting sets of expectations just colliding on one pitch.
Yeah.
Austria arrived as this veteran European powerhouse, right?
Right, but carrying a lot of baggage.
Exactly. The weight of a brutal 28-year absence from this tournament. They had an entire generation of fans just desperate for a return to relevance.
And then on the flip side, you have Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan stepped onto the grass as absolute debutantes. This is the first World Cup match in their nation's history.
I was actually looking at the sports betting analytics from OddsChecker before we started, and the contrast in expectations was just stark.
Oh, I bet. What were the numbers?
Austria was installed as a massive favorite at 720 odds. I mean, Jordan was ranked 39 places beneath them globally.
Wow. 39 places.
Yeah. And that disparity basically dictated the tactical setup. Let's look at Austria first. They're managed by Ralf Rangnick.
Right. A legendary tactical mind.
Totally. And they brought what analysts call a Red Bull pressing style to this tournament. So for you listening, if you maybe only watch football casually, break down what makes that system so suffocating.
Yeah, of course. Because it isn't just about, players running fast.
All right.
It is about organized predatory geometry.
Predatory geometry. I like that.
Right. The Red Bull pressing philosophy, which Rangnick actually helped pioneer,
Yeah.
is built on this concept of winning the ball back within seconds of losing it.
So no falling back to defend.
Exactly. Preferably high up the pitch, right near the opponent's goal. They don't fall back into a defensive shape when they lose possession. Instead, multiple players instantly swarm the ball carrier.
They just cut off all the passing lanes.
Every single short one. They create a localized numerical advantage to force a turnover in a really dangerous area. It's engineered to induce panic.
So they are basically a boa constrictor. Like the moment you take a breath, they squeeze.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yes. Okay, so knowing that, Jordan's tactical approach makes perfect sense. They lined up in a 3-4-3 formation and employed a low block.
Which is really the only way to survive that kind of press.
To visualize this, don't think of a traditional heavyweight boxing match where two fighters are trading blows in the center of the ring.
No, not at all.
Think of Jordan's formation as a heavily compressed metal spring, like a rope-a-dope strategy. They pulled all their players deep into their own half, dropping their defensive line incredibly close to their own penalty area.
Yeah, and that spatial compression is the absolute key. By dropping that deep, Jordan fundamentally neutralized the Red Bull press.
Because there's no space behind them to exploit.
Exactly. You cannot press an opponent high up the pitch if that opponent refuses to push up the pitch in the first place.
Right, that makes total sense.
Jordan essentially handed Austria the ball in harmless areas. They prioritized structural solidity over possession.
Well, I noticed a glaring anomaly in the match data that perfectly illustrates how effective that spring was.
Let me guess, the possession stats.
Yes. Austria held 62% of the possession.
Right.
If you just glance at a box score, you assume they totally dominated, but Jordan actually outshot Austria 11-10.
Wait, really? 11-10?
Yeah. And they had more shots on target, too, 4-2. It seems totally counterintuitive to control the ball for most of the game, but present less of a threat.
It does, but it reveals a really common illusion in football analytics,
Mhm.
which is that possession does not equal control.
Wow, okay. Break that down.
Austria's possession was entirely sterile. They were forced to just pass the ball sideways in front of that massive Jordanian wall.
Just knocking on a locked door.
Exactly. But every time Austria's players crept further forward trying to pick the lock, they left acres of empty green grass behind them.
Ah, the spring uncoils.
Yes. When Jordan inevitably intercepted a sideways pass, that compressed spring uncoiled violently. They transitioned into those massive empty spaces with incredible speed.
Making them mathematically more dangerous with the ball despite rarely having it.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's see how that tactical blueprint actually played out on the grass, because the first half was just a spectacular collision of those two philosophies.
It really was.
In the 20th minute, Austria finally manages to pry the door open. Romano Schmid receives the ball on the edge of the penalty area.
And he doesn't even try to pass through the low block.
No, he just bypasses it entirely by unleashing an absolute rocket into the top corner.
I mean, it was a phenomenal strike. And it actually carries a really bizarre historical echo.
Oh. What do the sources say?
Our sources highlight a brilliant piece of trivia here. With that goal, Romano Schmid became the first Austrian player to score from outside the box at a World Cup, since Ivica Vastic did it against Chile.
Okay, that's cool, but what's the bizarre part?
The eerie part is the date. Vastic scored that goal exactly 26 years ago to the day back in 1998.
No way, are you serious?
Exactly 26 years to the day.
Wow. A 26-year ghost exercise with one swing of a boot. That is wild.
Truly.
Now, you would expect a debutante nation to crumble after conceding a goal like that to a heavy favorite.
Usually, yeah, the floodgates open.
But Jordan stuck to their tactical discipline. The spring remained compressed until the 50th minute, just after halftime.
Here we go.
Noor Al-Rabde identifies a gap and fires a pass into wide open space. Ali Olwan collects it, and suddenly the counterattack is on.
It was so fast.
He makes a sensational solo run, completely isolates the backtracking Austrian defender, cuts inside onto his right foot, and curls the ball off the inside of the far post.
I mean, that moment is the ultimate vindication of sitting deep and suffering without the ball.
It has to be.
Yeah. Ali Olwan becomes Jordan's first ever World Cup goal scorer, not through sustained possession, but through predatory efficiency.
They lured Austria into a false sense of security and punished their high defensive line.
Exactly.
Well, the absolute elation of that equalizer sets up the second half, which turns into an incredibly tense study in, psychological endurance.
It was grueling to watch.
It really was. We hit the 67th minute. There is absolute chaos in the Jordanian penalty area. Their keeper attempts to punch away a corner kick, totally misses, and the ball scrambles to the feet of Austrian veteran Marko Arnautovic, who just stabs it into the net.
The Austrian bench just empties.
Oh, completely. But the referee immediately halts the celebration.
Yes. We enter the agonizing waiting room of modern football.
The VAR review.
The VAR review. The video assistant referee spots a potential infraction in the chaotic buildup.
And it takes forever.
It always does. After a lengthy on-field review by the referee, the goal is disallowed for a handball on Austria's Stefan Posch.
Okay, so the live text commentary from The Guardian describes the collective sigh of relief from the Jordanian players.
I mean, you could practically feel it through the screen.
Right. But I really wonder about the biological cost of that moment. Having a goal ruled out is a massive let-off, sure.
Yeah.
But surviving a near-death experience in a high-stakes match causes a massive spike in adrenaline. Does that adrenaline dump eventually lead to a physical crash?
Honestly, yes. The human body can only sustain that level of hypervigilance for so long.
Yeah.
And Jordan wasn't just battling their own adrenaline. They were battling compounding physical exhaustion.
Because they've been chasing the ball all game.
Exactly. This is where the structural inequality of international football really reveals itself. Austria didn't just have a strong starting 11. They had profound squad depth.
Right, the guys coming off the bench.
Yeah. As the game dragged past the 70th minute, Austria injected fresh Champions League-level legs into their midfield. Players like Konrad Laimer, Marcel Sabitzer, and Xaver Schlager.
I mean, those guys are practically cardiovascular machines. They just don't stop running.
Precisely. Jordan's starting 11 had spent 75 minutes chasing shadows, holding their tactical shape, and surviving VAR scares.
And Austria simply ramped up the physical pressure.
Yeah. The dam finally broke in the 76th minute.
And it wasn't even an open play goal, right?
No, it wasn't a moment of beautiful, fluid attacking play that undid Jordan. It was a vicious, swirling corner kick delivered by Sabitzer.
Ah, right.
Yazan Al-Arab, the Jordanian defender who had been an absolute titan all match, attempts to clear it.
Yeah.
The ball deflects cruelly off his body and into his own net.
It is genuinely heartbreaking. Al Arab plays the game of his life, and he goes into the official FIFA records with an own goal.
It just illustrates the merciless nature of tournament football. You can execute a flawless tactical plan, outshoot a European heavyweight, defend heroically.
But the pressure gets to you.
Yeah, continuous, relentless pressure against tired minds and heavy legs eventually forces a mechanical error.
And the cruelty doesn't even stop there. Deep into stoppage time, 90 plus 12 minutes on the clock, fatigue strikes again.
It always does.
Salim Obeid is penalized for a late handball in the box. Arnautovic steps up and converts the penalty to make it 3-1.
And that penalty was historically significant, too.
Oh yeah, that goal puts Arnautovic in the record books as the oldest Austrian World Cup scorer at 37 years and 59 days old. He breaks the previous record held by Tony Polster.
From the 1998 tournament.
Right, another 1998 connection.
Austria's entire narrative that day was just inextricably linked to their last appearance almost 3 decades prior. They bookended their victory by matching and breaking 1998 milestones.
It's a very tidy narrative for the European side. But I want to shift our focus back to that scene in the Roman theater in Amman.
Yeah, let's talk about the cultural impact.
The drama that unfolded on the grass in California triggered a massive cultural response on the exact opposite side of the globe. The logistics of global sports broadcasts often create these bizarre temporal realities.
This is so true.
A 9:00 p.m. kickoff under the floodlights in Santa Clara translates to 7:00 a.m. on a Wednesday morning in Jordan.
Which is a time slot that is fundamentally incompatible with a functioning work and school day.
Most governments would just expect their citizens to, check the score on their phones.
Right, maybe watch the highlights later.
Exactly. But according to the Xinhua dispatch we reviewed, the Jordanian government actually issued an official directive delaying the start of the workday across the country until 10:00 a.m.
That is just unbelievable.
They literally paused their domestic economy so the nation could watch 11 men chase a ball.
When you look at modern football analysis, there is a heavy reliance on metrics like expected goals, or XG.
Right, which measures the statistical quality of the shots a team takes.
Exactly. Analysts use it to determine who deserved to win based on probability. But XG cannot quantify the cultural shockwave of a government halting its daily rhythm.
It really can't.
The Xinhua report includes this incredible quote from Omar Al-Rawabda, a 17-year-old youth player from the city of Karak.
What did he say?
He said, "The Nashima has shown young players like me that nothing is impossible and inspired us to pursue our ambitions with determination."
Wow. That sentiment permanently alters the trajectory of a sporting culture.
It really does.
Seeing your own jersey, hearing your own anthem on that specific stage, changes the paradigm of what a 17-year-old believes is a realistic ambition.
And that shift in audience participation, a new nation tuning in at dawn, is mirrored by a massive evolution in how the tournament itself is being packaged and presented to the world.
Our 888 Sports source outlines a pretty profound modernization of the broadcast landscape, doesn't it?
It does. The coverage provided by major UK broadcasters like the BBC and ITV looks entirely different than it did even a decade ago.
Yeah, we are seeing elite female presenters, tactical pundits, and specialists anchoring the flagship coverage of the men's tournament.
Which is fantastic.
Figures like Laura Woods hosting, former international defender Alex Scott breaking down defensive lines, tactical minds like Emma Hayes dissecting formations.
Oh, and Christina Uncle providing granular analysis of complex refereeing and VAR decisions.
Yes. It totally dismantles a deeply entrenched boys' club mentality that historically dominated sports television.
By elevating these women to primary analytical roles, the broadcasters are loudly confirming that deep tactical understanding and authoritative insight are not gender exclusive.
Right. It enriches the texture of the broadcast because it brings diverse analytical lenses to the tactical breakdown.
Reflecting a modern global audience rather than an antiquated demographic.
Absolutely. And that modernization of the broadcast is crucial because the viewers tuning in are witnessing a tournament defined by staggering contrasts.
Yeah, the extremes are huge.
To fully appreciate the gritty, emotional battle between Austria and Jordan, we have to look at the other matches that took place on June 16th.
Group J doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Exactly. Earlier that same day, the undisputed titans of the sport were putting on absolute analytical clinics.
The heavyweights were operating in an entirely different stratosphere of the game.
Just look at Argentina opening their title defense with a routine 3-0 demolition of Algeria.
Routine is a perfect word.
Lionel Messi, playing in his 200th international cap, scores a hat trick. Think about the mechanics of that achievement.
It's hard to even comprehend.
With those 3 goals, he equals Miroslav Klose's all-time record of 16 World Cup goals.
And then over in Group I, France dismantles Senegal 3-1.
Right, with Kylian Mbappe scoring his 14th World Cup goal, simultaneously becoming France's all-time top scorer with 58 goals.
And Erling Haaland casually scores a debut brace to secure a win for Norway.
Casual brilliance everywhere.
The statistics surrounding Messi and Mbappe are about mathematical inevitability. They are polished, clinical machines, methodically dismantling records that span generations.
We watch them to witness historical excellence in real time.
Exactly. But a tournament composed entirely of clinical, inevitable excellence would feel sterile.
It would get boring.
It would. The magic of the World Cup requires the extreme opposite. It requires the raw, desperate, agonizing fight of a debuting nation like Jordan.
We need both the clinical record breakers and the emotional grinders to create a compelling global narrative.
The contrast is what gives the tournament its weight.
A Messi hat-trick confirms greatness, but Ali Olwan, sprinting half the length of the pitch, muscles burning, to score a goal that ultimately won't even secure a point.
That creates immortality within a specific culture.
Exactly. So we started this deep dive looking at a box score that read Austria 3, Jordan 1.
Which looks pretty standard.
On paper, it looks like the heavy favorite showed up and handled their business. But the reality beneath that scoreline is vastly more complex.
It was a 100-minute tactical puzzle where a compressed defensive spring neutralized a boa constrictor press.
It was a showcase of brutal physical margins, where Champions League depth slowly suffocated a heroic defense until a single deflection changed history.
And it was an event that caused a nation on the other side of the planet to literally freeze its economy at sunrise.
It proves that the most compelling elements of football are rarely found in the final score.
Rarely ever.
So next time you are catching up on tournament highlights or, prepping for a sports debate at a meeting, I challenge you to look past the heavy favorites and the obvious superstars.
Dig into the tactical formations of the underdogs.
Yes. Look for the human exhaustion, the chaotic deflections, and the cultural shockwaves unfolding on the pitch.
Which leaves us with a final concept to mull over.
Let's hear it.
When a debuting nation like Jordan deliberately delays its entire economy, altering the very rhythm of its daily life just to watch a game they mathematically are expected to lose, and ultimately do, what does that tell us about the true currency of international sports? Is the real victory, perhaps, simply earning the right to be heartbroken on the world's biggest stage?